got that much mail today.
One thing that's nice about the UPS store, you know, once in a while I'll get a phone call from them and they'll be like, hey Mike, just FYI, you have a package or you got some mail, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, once in a while. That's pretty cool of them. So yeah, for van life, UPS store for the mailbox, super worth it. Anyways, so my gas tank, I tapped into it. It's actually a little over 2 years now, but I'm just calling 2 years. We'll just call it 2 years because it makes no sense. But yeah, I tapped into my gas tank and everything is still working flawlessly. I'm gonna go to a nice park here and talk to you guys about what I did, how I did it, why I did it, and give you an update of how it's all going. But first, I gotta get a strawberry banana smoothie from McDonald's. So the reason I do these update videos on tapping into my gas tank is because I made a video called Temperature Control, and I was talking about the idea of tapping into the gas tank to supply fuel for the generator and the generator for the air conditioner. And I got a lot of backlash on it. A lot of people were against it, thought I was crazy, threw out some nasty names. So my response to that was, it's actually, you know what? Thank you, everybody that did that, because all you did was give me motivation to make update videos. So this is the 2-year update video, and you know, it still works great. So what I did is, so here's the reason why I tapped into the gas tank. I needed to have the ability to control the temperature in my van in the summertime. The wintertime, it's easy. The buddy heater works just fine. If I'm on shore power, I have a little plug-in heater that I use which is a drier heat. It's actually a little bit of a nicer heat, but doesn't matter to me. I'm okay with the buddy heater. I use it almost every night in the winter. But as far as air conditioning, it's a lot harder to cool the van than it is to warm the van. There's a lot more moving parts as far as being off-grid. Now, if you're plugged in somewhere, it's obviously no problem. You just plug in and you've got your air conditioner. But in my case, I'm not always plugged in, and in the case for a lot of van lifers. So I tapped into my gas tank for to supply fuel, because I didn't want to have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to refuel the generator. And yeah. So here's what I did. I purchased I forget what it's called, but it's this little device. It's a little plastic piece. If I figure it out, I'll put the link in the description, off Amazon. And all this was a little valve, and this little valve had a little part that was threaded. So the valve was an on-off, like a little on-off switch. And what I did is I drilled a hole about 2 inches above the floor of my gas tank. Right on a part that actually turns out was for tapping in. But I right in the center of this, and I drilled a hole and I threaded the little piece into it. Then I pulled it out, and what I used was a fuel-resistant gasket maker around the threads, like a thread lock. And so that way, if fuel does leak through the threads, it's being blocked by that stuff. So I screwed that in, and then I used a plastic bonder around the edge of it, almost like you would if you were like to weld it. So between the plastic bonder, the threads, and the gasket maker, I'm yet to have any leaks 2 years later. And then I just ran a fuel line, which I also got on Amazon, from that point all the way to the front of the van into the box with the generator. So the way the gas tank sits, the height of the gas tank versus the height of the generator, the gas tank sits just slightly above it. So having said that, this is mainly a gravity-fed system. Most of the fuel is already there, and then I have a little prime bulb that brings it right up to the top of the tank of the generator, and the fuel pump does the remaining work. I had a crazy system before. I'm not even going to get into that, but I actually had like a fuel pump on a timer, and it was just crazy. But I did a lot of experimenting with this to get it right, and I finally, the system I have now has been working flawlessly. I haven't had any issues. The only issue that I have had was the generator just sometimes not starting and everything, but that's just maintenance. You change the oil on those Honda generators, do a air filter and spark plug replacement, and those things last forever. They're awesome. But I have had it a couple times where I was having a hard time starting it, but then I just did a maintenance and it started like a champ. So a 2,000 watt putt-putt generator is more than enough to supply power for your air conditioner. So the generator also doesn't just supply power for the air conditioner, but when it's running, it acts as exterior power. So I can use my microwave, toaster oven, and even my coffee maker. Also, when it is running, my batteries are taking a charge. So in the summertime, you know, when I'm just boondocking somewhere, overnight I run that generator. When I wake up in the morning, the batteries are fully charged. Now I have solar power on top of it, so I never really have an issue with my batteries these days. But yeah, it's pretty simple. It's not a very complicated thing. If you know what you're doing and you are comfortable with mechanic kind of stuff and fuel lined and all that, you could do this yourself. I would highly recommend doing research beyond research beyond research before attempting a task like this, because you are drilling a hole in the side of your gas tank, which could be scary. But you know, the way I felt, you know, I wasn't that intimidated by it. You know, when you're cutting a hole in the roof of your van to install a max fan, a lot of people are like nervous because, well, you're cutting a hole in the top of your van, so of course you're gonna be nervous. I wasn't nervous because this is the kind of stuff I do, and you know, so I felt pretty confident in it. But again, if you're gonna do something like this, definitely do research beyond research beyond research. Oh, and another little tip, when I did do this, I kind of ran my van gas tank as low as I could, and then when I went and drilled a hole, one of the first things I did was jack the driver's side of the van up, because I'm drilling, it was on the driver's side. And the reason for that way any remaining fuel that's in the gas tank will be on one side. So that way when you drill into it, you're not, you know, it's just an extra precaution. I'm pretty sure that the fuel level was even lower, but still, just jacking it up a little bit and pushing the fuel to the one side can't hurt. So anyways, yeah, you know, that's that. There's really not much to it. I don't really have too much to say about the update other than it's still working and I'm having no problems. One thing I am thinking about doing in the near future is going ahead and just replacing the fuel line. And the reason for that is because it's been it's actually been closer to like 2.5 years. 2.5 years, it's been outside in the elements, and fuel lines, you know, all it is rubber hose, and over time it starts to create dry rot, kind of like on motorcycles and tires and all that. So just to stay on top of any potential issues, I think replacing that fuel line is probably not a bad idea. And also running the fuel line, you know, you want to make sure you run it in a way where when you turn your wheels or anything, nothing interferes with it. So just something to keep in mind. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Tapping into my gas tank has been awesome. It's been working great, and I'm not, I don't have any regrets in that whole thing. So if you made it this far, you're the weirdo, not me. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Like, share, subscribe, keep it simple, keep it real, and I'll see you guys on the next one.